Shema bani Musar avicha Bialti tosh torati mecha Torah, Torah, tziva lanu Moshe, Marasha, Marasha, Kechilat Yaakov, Torah, Torah, tziva lanu Moshe, Marasha, Marasha, Kahilat Yaakov, Torah, Torah, Tziva lanu Moshe, Marasha, Marasha, Kahilat Yaakov, Torah, Torah, Tziva lanu Moshe, Marasha, Marasha, Kachilat Yaakov.
Mazel Tov, good afternoon and welcome to Doron's virtual Bar Mitzvah. This really is a very special and unique moment in Simcha. I'd like to thank everyone who's worked so hard to make it possible. A huge Mazel Tov to Katrina, Danny, and of course to Doron and all the family. And now we're going to go live to the Bradley house as I hand over to Danny, who will say a few words of introduction, and then we'll hear from Doron himself. Dan, it's over to you.
Many thanks, Rabbi Chapper. Thank you all for joining us today to share in Doron's virtual Bar Mitzvah. Obviously, this is not how we envisioned his Bar Mitzvah, as we have been looking forward to hearing him in shul yesterday and also partying with you all today. Whilst this indiscriminate disease has caused disruption, distress, and some tears around our Simcha plans, we feel a greater sympathy for those who have lost someone or have been directly affected by it. And we feel we must pay a huge gratitude to the NHS and all the key workers keeping us safe and our society running. I just hope that we all remember them when things have normalized. First of all, I'd like to thank all of those people who have traveled from far away to be with us today. Okay. Well, actually, in all seriousness, we really do miss you all and can't wait until we can meet up again. I guess one benefit of having a virtual Bar Mitzvah this time is at least we should avoid a group of gypsies gate crashing and looking for a missing 3-year-old. No one yet? Doron, we are so proud of you. You have worked so hard, and despite all the difficulties, you've got to this point where you can read your parasha to friends, family, and the community. Doron, you have become such a kind, thoughtful, and caring young man. And probably more than any other person, I think you've actually thrived through lockdown. It has been so lovely that rather than being cooped up inside, you are always out on your bike for hours every day, even though this might be to the dismay of people living in Barham Avenue, Nicks Drive, and Park Crescent, who seemingly have the perfect roads for wheelies. I know many of you have seen them about. Doron, it is lovely to see your confidence growing over the past few months and to see what a nice young man you are becoming. Whilst Mummy and I have been working longer hours than even normal, you've stepped up and started doing many jobs around the house to help out. And without us asking, you have sat at your laptop and completed all of your online schooling lessons. At least that's what you tell us. You can sometimes be quite shy, however, are really coming out of yourself. And I have to say that despite your well-known dislike of publicly smiling, you and I have such a great laugh together, even if you are a bit cheeky. The one thing that Doron loves more than even biking, and certainly more than humans, are his dogs Snoopy and Woodstock, or Woody. So I couldn't not mention them. I'd like to say some special thanks, first of all, to Michael Cohen for now having taught 2 of our boys. Thank you. To Rabbi Chapper for all your support and friendship. And I'm hoping kind words to follow. To Louise and Josh Munt, who have been just amazing and so selfless at running all of the virtual bar mitzvah. We actually wouldn't have known what to do without you. Thank you so much. And a special mention to Rabbi Pansy and Miriam, who have been there for us at every halakhic stage of our family life. Olivia, the situation we find ourselves at the moment, I think has actually been particularly difficult for your school year group. You've just broken away from home and are doing so well in your first year at university. Yet now, here you are, stuck back at home with us, or particularly me. Don't worry, you're a wonderful, beautiful young woman and have a fantastic future ahead of you. Similarly, Seppi, you are also amazing and one of the kindest, most caring people. You're going to have a great time at college next year, despite not taking your GCSEs. I'm sure you're gutted. Katrina, you are the rock of this family, and you've now had to organise 3 bar mitzvahs, 2 for Doron. The original one, and now this. I know it's been really hard for you. However, you've carried on and kept everybody's chins up and organised everything brilliantly. Thank you. You really are my beautiful, wonderful soulmate, and I love you dearly forever. Doron, a huge Mazel Tov on your bar mitzvah and becoming a man in the eyes of the Jewish religion. I would now like to pass over to you, Doron, to complete your parasha.
Ayol, Mashe, Nasi, Ned, God, Eliasaf, Benditwell, Corbano, Karak, Casablaha, Sheloshin, Ishkala, Midrock, Ahal, Kessa, Shavim, Sheka, Washeka, Mokoda, Shana, Hamilton, and Cellular, Usher, Minha, Kafaha, Asavaza, Hamila, Afar, Ahal, and Ayawaha, Kevsaka, Benjamin, Kodawa. Series in Makadaka, Reserve, Shadame, Bakashanayan, Aiden Honishak, Dim Honishak, Kavas Incarnation of Honishak, the Boban, Eliasaf, Benditwell, Ayom, Possibly, Nasi, Livne, Ephraim, Elishama, Benamid, Boban, Lobo, Karakazavaha, Shaloshem, Mishkla, Midrak, Akakasa, Shabim, Shaka, Vashaka, Hakodesh. Can I have it in so I let them look stand and half as a was a half minute off for a car, a half and car. I you a half as a conventional for Lola. Series in a hard hot reserve of Shalamin, Bokash, Noyan, Alien Honishak, then Honishak, let us in the nation of Honishak. There, Boban, Elishama, Benamid. Bayom. Hashmane, Nasi, Libne, Menashe, Gambia, Bempadaso, Kobano, Karakatavaha, Shabushim, Mishka, Mishra, Aha, Plessa, Shabim, Shaka, Shaka, Hakodesh, and a Hamlet, so let the lovers and Havaha, Asavaza, Hamlet, Ahab, and I, yeah, hard, and Sakha, Bench, not for Lala. Series in Mahalahat, Reservoir, Shalamin, Arshnaim, Alien Rishad, Dimshah, Kevin, the National Rishad. There, Koban Ramli Alban Pilasso. Wayom, Hatashi, Nasi, Nay, Binyamin, Abidan, Ben, Gibani, Kobano, Karakas, Chilshin, Mayor, Misla, Midrock, Afro, Julian Jacob, Shaka, Kodesh, and Hamid, so let Revolution, half a heart, so far as a home, correct, and hold them call. I yell a call, kept some convention of Colorado. Series in my father of her. It is a Hashanah, Hashanah, and Alien from Shop, examination of home shop. The Koban, Abidan, Ben, Gibani, Bayom, Bayom, Shiray, Nasi, Nathan, Ahi, Ben, Amishadai, Kobano, Karakasavaha, Shoshin, Nya, Mishkla, Nidra, Akakasa, Shivim, Shaka, Makadesh, Shanahamil, so let Lavasha and Minha, Havaha, Asavaza, Haman, Alpha, I record Kepsaka Bench of Lolas, it is a Mahalahata. It is ever Hashalame, Bakashanai, and Alien from Shop, Kepson, the nation of the Koban, Koban, yes, I don't know should die. But Yom, Ashtay, Asa, Yom, Nasi, Nay, Asher, Pagiel, Ben Opwa, Kobano, Karakasavaha, Shoshin, Mishkla, Mizra, Akakasa, Shivin, Shaka, Shinahamil, so let the reduction Afaha, Asavaza, Hamil, Akakora, Harben, Ayawa, Kavasa, Adventure of Kola, it is in Mahalaha. It is there for Hashanah, Bakashnai, Alien Hamisha, Dim Hamisha, there was combination of Hamisha, there, Bogan, Pagiel, Benahon. Yom, Shane, Masa, Yom, Nasi, Nay, Napali, Achira, Ben, Anon, Kobano, Karakasavaha, Shadowshin, Nya, Mishra, Mizra, Akakasa, Shivin, Shaka, Hakadosh. Shinahamil, so let the Lavashan, Kafaha, Asavaza, Hapmalam, correct. Reserve, Hashalame, Bakashanai, Alien, from Shadim, from Shah. There was combination of Hamsha. There, Koban, Afidan, Ben, Anon.
Shakara!
Wow, Shekoyach Doron. Where have you gone? Disappeared. Shekoyach Doron, that was fantastic. I think I almost saw a smile on your face there. Oh, here he is.
I'm like crying. I'm like putting my eyes.
I think I already saw a smile on your face when you were doing that, Doron. That was fantastic. I wasn't expecting you, half expecting to be on your bike while you were doing it. But that's fantastic. Really well done. Really well done to you. Now I'm delighted Dad is there, because Dan, you're now going to say your bracha, releasing you of responsibility for Doron.
Baruch, Shaktirani, Me'un Shov, Shel Zeh.
Amen. Mazel Tov to you, Katrina. Now you are relieved of responsibility for Doron. Mazel Tov to you. The relief is palpable on your face, clearly. Now, I understand that Olivia and Seppi would like to say a few words.
Shalom Doron, the youngest and favorite child of the family. You did your reading beautifully, especially under the circumstances. And we look forward to celebrating in the future. I'm sure you're worried about what we're going to say, so here it goes.
Doron, although we don't get on so well, you pretend to hate me, and I say pretend, because really we do get on well at the end of the day, even if you don't know it. We listen to similar music, share headphones on long journeys. We're both quite sporty, love to play sports together in the garden, such as trampolining, football, and swing ball, which of course you're obviously better than me at because you're the best at everything and anything. Although we call each other ugly, unfortunately we're the most similar looking family. I can't believe you're now 13. I still remember you being a smushy baby, and honestly, I still see you as that now. Love you lots, chicken. Over to Cecily.
Oh, Doron, how do I start this? Well, firstly, I can't believe you're not on the Xbox right now playing Fortnite. It's funny to see you don't have your headset on your head. And I still remember the first day you joined the Avna, and we'd still get the bus together until we both became really lazy and got lists from Mum. We've always become boisterous by trying to fight each other all the time, especially on holiday in the pool when we sneak up behind each other and trying to dunk each other. I can't wait for more holidays to come. Even though we fight, I love you really and hope you have as much fun as possible today.
Raz, you look lovely today. Great to see you out of that white Adidas t-shirt, and it's finally able to see the inside of a washing machine.
Well, we know you love the dogs more than us, but unfortunately they didn't prepare a speech for you.
So
Mazel Tov.
Olivia and Sevi, thank you so much for that. You can see that Doron is thrilled with that. Doron, now my turn to say a few words to you. Firstly, Mazel Tov on your bar mitzvah. Mazel Tov to your dear parents. Mazel Tov to you, Katrina, and to you, Dan. To your grandparents, to to your Nana and Granda, Celia and Brian Bradley, and to your relatives in France, Bournemouth, Cornwall, and Leamington, of course, those close to home, and of course, not forgetting your sister Olivia and brother Seppi. Mazel Tov to you all. Doron, they all your family, share so much nachas from you today, and I hope you know how proud they are of you. Your laning was excellent. It's lovely to see a smile come up on your face, and I'm quite proud that when we chatted a few days ago, that also was managed to get a smile on your face as well. You clearly worked hard with your teacher, Michael Cohen, to prepare for today, and it's really paid off. I'm just sorry that it isn't quite the bar mitzvah that you were expecting, although I understand that it's actually worked out quite well for you, as you much prefer to be doing it in your home than in shul in front of everyone. And it's just lucky you can't see the millions of people watching at this moment. You named one of the most striking components of Parshas Naso, the listing of the 12 princes and all the gifts that they brought at the dedication of the Mishkan, the portable desert tabernacle. In a total of no less than 70 verses, the Torah describes how every one of the 12 princes brought exactly the same items. And by repeating the same thing over and over again 12 times, it makes Naso the longest Sedra in the Torah. But it didn't have to be that way, because the Torah could have simply said the daily offering was brought on 12 consecutive days. And in that way, 70 verses will be compacted into no more than 10 or 15. And Naso will be 50 verses shorter. Doron, do you realize that would have saved you a lot of work? You could have spent much less time on this and more time on your bike. Now, I'm often accused of repeating myself, mostly by my children. But as we know, normally the Torah avoids repetition. It's normally concise and abbreviated. It leaves us to expound the hidden and to deduce the conclusions. In fact, the Gemara tells us that many intricate laws can be derived from only a handful of verses in Devarim. And so if all 12 princes brought exactly the same gifts, why is each and every one of them detailed over and over? Now, this question has been asked and answered by countless commentaries, but I'm not going to bore you with that. Instead, Doron, let me ask you something. Let me ask you, everyone knows that you love cycling and riding your bike wherever and whenever you can. But let me ask you this. How many gears does your bike have? How many?
21.
21?
Yeah.
Wow.
73. 83. Oh, 24 then.
It's just gone up.
8 and 3.
8?
Yeah.
All right, we'll count afterwards. Yeah, we'll count later. Because I understood that you can now get these 12, so how far behind I am. I thought that this is new to get a 12-speed gear set. All right, well, these 12 gears apparently provide a wider ranging selection of gears and less of a jump between the gears on the cassette to ensure a smooth pedaling rhythm as the terrain changes. But just think about it for a second. Think not just about the number of times you change gear, but also about the number of times you turn the pedals and the number of times the wheels revolve. Doron, have you ever counted that when you've been out riding? Of course not, because it happens countless times. It's so many that it's innumerable. But you're technical, you're good at fixing your bike, so why can't you make the wheels just turn a few times for you to reach your destination? Why do they have to keep going round and around repeatedly? I think the answer is simple. Because we all know that repetition is often the only way to reach your destination. And with that in mind, we can understand a fascinating debate in the Mishnah. The sages ask, what is the single most important posuk verse in the Torah? Now, of course, every verse is equally important, as each and every one forms part of the divinely revealed Torah. However, it seems that certain pasukim contain central ideas which inform Jewish life. So which is the one that seems to express the totality of Judaism, the essence of our personal and collective lives more than any other? Well, the great sage Rabbi Akiva said, "V'ahavta l'recha kamocha," love your fellow man as yourself. That's the great principle of the Torah. Ben Azai, another great sage, said, Zeh Sefer Toldos Adam, quoting that this is the book of the generations of Adam on the day that God created man. He made him in his image. He said that's a greater principle than Rabbi Akiva's. And a third sage, Rabbi Zomer, says that we have found a more inclusive verse, and it is Shema Yisrael. Now, all three opinions make perfect sense as I highlight some of the most fundamental teachings of the Torah. Each of them focuses on a crucial aspect of the Torah. And yet along comes Rabbi Shimon ben Pazi and said that we found a more inclusive verse than that. What is the verse? You shall offer the first lamb in the morning and the second lamb in the evening, which refers to the daily Tamid offering brought every morning and evening in the temple. And the question is obvious. How does this statement about the daily offering brought morning and evening compare with the all-encompassing statements of those previous three sages? How can this be the accepted view? After all, he talks about daily offerings, and the others talk of fundamental and quintessential teachings. Well, the Maharal explains that this verse emphasizes that Jewish life needs absolute consistency on a perpetual basis, like the wheels of a bike that they have to keep on turning, and the princes have to keep on bringing their gifts. Judaism is centered on a continuous relationship with God. Ben Pazi teaches us that the only way to transform our lives in a sustainable way is through continual daily commitment. Believing in great religious declarations that everyone is created in God's image, stirring aspirations of loving our fellow human beings, and even the most fundamental declaration of Shema Yisrael are of course important, but only through a continuous and consistent commitment. Day in and day out can we reach our destination and change ourselves and the world for better. Doron, that's your challenge now that you're Bar Mitzvah, and it's the same one that we all share. Commitment, stability, and perpetual dedication to Torah and mitzvahs is at the heart of a moral and spiritual life, because the repeated daily actions become habits. Habits in turn become ingrained character traits, and character traits eventually transform us. And in many ways, Judaism is more about deed than creed, and more about good actions than lofty thoughts. Daily commitment is the anchor of our Jewish life, and we have to constantly move through those gears and offer our own divine gifts. Now, Doron, I think you understand that perhaps more than most, because not only do you come from a family who live by Torah values, they've taught you the importance of Shabbos and Kashrus and so much more, as well as being part of a community. Both of your parents are an integral part of our community here at BES. And I have to make special mention of Dan's involvement, your dad's involvement on the youth committee, running children's services for so many years. And who can forget the chaotic Danny and Donnie double act at Simchas Torah and the restaurant reviews with Richard. Now, Doron, you're a determined young man, and I hear you will spend ages practicing things that you want to do. You're also thoughtful, sensitive to other people's feelings, and you're very independent. So I say to you, now that you're bar mitzvah, be as consistent with your Jewish practice as you are with your cycling. Treat the Torah with as much care as you show to your pets. And one more thing. Try to smile once in a while. Maybe not then. But if you could do at least two of those things, if you could be consistent in your Jewish practice as you are with your cycling, and if you can show as much care to Torah mitzvahs as you do to the pets that you love so much, then you will be a source of great nachas to your dear parents, to your grandparents and family, to this community, and ultimately to God himself. I wish you and all your family a huge, huge Mazel Tov.
Thanks.
And now it gives great pleasure to make a special Mishubera on the occasion of your bar mitzvah. Mishubera Chavosenu Avram Yitzchak Yaakov Yivarech Es Abacha bar mitzvah Doron Yonatan Ben Daniel Ruben Yitzchak Shemalu Lo Shlosh Esrei Shana Vigel Mitzvahs V'ala La Torah Se Sheva Choda Akol Atoma Shemam Titzoi Baruch Baruch Hu Yishmerei V'Yatzilei Mikol Samzuka Mikol Negam Akala Yasem Liva Amaso Virasoi V'Asos Rusoi Noilo Doble Vavshem Kol Yamim V'Noma Amen.
Amen.
He who blessed our fathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, blessed Doron Bradley, who has attained his 13th birthday, has reached the age to perform mitzvahs, and will please at some point be called to the Torah to give praise and thanks for all the good things that you, God, have done for him. May the Holy One, blessed be he, protect him, save him from all trouble and distress, from every plague, virus, and disease. May he implant in his heart the desire to love and revere him, desire to do his will with a perfect heart throughout his life. And let us say, Amen. So, Mazel Tov to you. Delighted to ask your dear parents to come back in and give you their bracha, their blessing.
Simcha v'him k'efraim chimenacha. Evarecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Adonai b'nafilecha v'chunecha. Yisa Adonai b'nafilecha v'yisem lecha shalom.
Amen.
May God make you like Ephraim and Manasseh. May God bless you and watch over you. May God shine his face towards you and show you favor. May God be favorably disposed towards you, and may he grant you peace.
Amen. Hey, Mazel Tov. Now, I understand we have a certificate to present to you.
Okay, the certificate presented to Doron Bradley on the occasion of his bar mitzvah, 15th of Sivan 5780, 7th of June 2020, at home, in partnership with Doron Wood and Elsbury Synagogue.
Mazel Tov to you.
Thank you.
Mazel Tov. You did so well.
Siman Tov and Mazel Tov and Mazel Tov and Siman Tov. Siman Tov and Mazel Tov and Mazel Tov and Siman Tov. Siman Tov and Mazel Tov and Mazel Tov and Siman Tov. Yeah, hey lanu. Siman Tov and Mazel Tov and Mazel Tov and Siman Tov. Siman Tov and Mazel Tov and Mazel Tov and Siman Tov. Siman Tov and Mazel Tov and Mazel Tov and Siman Tov. Yeah.